I'm Pam Rose. I'm a registered dietitian from Ishpeming, Michigan. I own Inspiring Roots. And today we're coming from my small little garden here of rhubarb. You can see this is a spring plant, and so I have just a few little rhubarb stems left for the season. So speaking of rhubarb, I wanted to talk about Fried Walleye and Cherry Pie. It's a really cool book of Midwestern writers, and they write about food, and they share really fun recipes from their family and heritage. And one of the stories here, it's called The Night of the Rhubarb Kuchen, and it's by Anne Dimmock. And I wanted to share a recipe today. So I thought we could go over to my Inspiring Roots outdoor kitchen and make it together. Welcome to my Inspiring Roots kitchen here outdoors. Lovely day today, in August, the end of August. So today we're going to be making that rhubarb kuchen, and we're going to start with the cake base, and I'm going to show you how to put that together. So first of all, we start with the butter. So 2/3 cup of butter. I have everything all measured out here for us. So we're going to put that into the bowl. It needs to be softened to room temperature. Next, you take a 1/2 cup of sugar, granulated sugar, pour that into your dish. And then lastly, you will take the teaspoon of vanilla and pour that in. We're going to want to cream all of these ingredients together. So I have just an easy hand mixer here. We're just going to blend this up. You just make a little cream base out of there. I'm just going to push this down so it doesn't kind of went up the sides. And next we're going to work on is separating the eggs. So it will call for 2 whole eggs. I'm going to put this aside. And we're going to take 2 whole eggs right here, and we're going to add it into a dish. We're going to add that into the dish, and then next what we're going to do is we're going to take 3 whole eggs and we're going to separate it so we have the whites in one part and the yolk in the other. So I'm going to put all my little eggs right here, and we're going to open it up and then just separating the eggs. So we just kind of go back and forth, making sure the yolk doesn't get in, and then we'll put the yolk into this dish. We'll do that with 2 other ones. We want to make sure our eggs are at room temperature is another good rule of thumb, just for when we help to make the meringue at the end. It will really help to make it fluffy. Last one, doing pretty good here. Woo! Ooh, I almost lost that one. Put that in here. So we're all set. So now we have 3 yolks. And the rest of our mixture here with the egg yolk, we have actually 5 egg yolks, and then we're going to put that into our dish, and we're going to save the whites for later. So then we'll be whisking our eggs just to get them blended together, broken up, nice and separated. And then we'll take that mixture and combine it with the butter mixture we already creamed. And then we will blend that together. Now we're going to mix it up just a little bit to get them all incorporated together. Not much, it doesn't have to be thoroughly blended. We'll hold it right there. And the next thing that we'll want to do is sift our flour, our cornstarch, and our baking powder. So the reason why we want to sift it is we want to make sure that there aren't any clumps and it's distributed very evenly throughout the mixture. It also incorporates air, so absorbs moisture a little bit better. So the flour actually will all distribute and get moistened at the same time. So it doesn't take long. You think, oh my gosh, I have to sift this whole amount, but it goes really quickly. And see how fluffy it gets? That's incorporating that air so that it absorbs all that moisture from the eggs. Then we're going to do the cornstarch the same. And then we'll do the powder. We want to make sure we get all of that. I see there's a little bit more left in our bowl too, and I want to make sure to capture that. That cornstarch helps us to thicken the cake. And moving on to the next thing we're going to do is blending this nice and smooth. Set. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to take a spring pan. So it's about a 10-inch spring pan, and we're going to spray the inside of the spring pan just to make sure that the cake doesn't stick. So we'll go and do the sides. And the bottom. I like to use, actually this is a coconut oil spray that's really nice. If I'm baking or cooking, I actually use avocado spray, but this is a really good spray to use. And then we'll take our spoon and then just plop it in the cake mix right into that pan. And then just spread it out onto the pan. Spread out here. Now next thing we have to do is prepare our rhubarb. So here's the rhubarb. I have some prepared for us, and we need about 2 2/3 cup of cut rhubarb. Rhubarb is actually very healthy for us. It has that red color that's in the rhubarb that you can definitely tell that it's higher in antioxidants. It's rich in calcium, vitamin A, C, K, potassium, folate, manganese, magnesium, wide variety. And it helps to reduce inflammation in our bodies also. So it's great addition. So even though we're eating a cake, we're adding a health benefit to it. So let me just cut the rest up here so we can be set. So like I said, again, about a half, or excuse me, 1 inch to 1.5 inches. Kind of bigger than we're used to in like a rhubarb pie that we make, or other dishes. So we're going to take our rhubarb and our cake, and we are going to combine our rhubarb on. We're just going to put it right on top of the cake. So we're going to put it all over, just sprinkling it on here. It'll be like a second layer. And keep just putting a whole bunch on here. There you go. And as you can see, it's bigger, so it's not going to break down as much. So just pushing it right down. You can go all the way down so you can get it into the bottom. And there you go. We're going to throw this in the oven at 350 for 25 minutes, or until the cake actually pulls away from the spring pan. We'll see what happens. While the Kuchen is cooking, I thought, well, I'm going to take a walk back to my garden again. And you know, when I was thinking about rhubarb and reading stories of memories of past time and food and really reminiscing, I was like, these plants that I received actually were from an old gentleman neighbor who now has passed on, and it was like such a great memory to think about him. Also, I received some rhubarb plants from my mom and dad. So really, cooking, if you embrace it and be in the present, you can kind of think back about all those relationships that you've had in the past too. So this book really has inspired me to think about what we eat and the heritage and where our food actually has come from. So if you have a chance, take a peek at this book. It's really a neat book. So we need to get back and make the meringue before that Kuchen is done. All right, we made it back to the Inspiring Roots kitchen, and we're gonna make that meringue before our the bell rings for our cake, or the Kuchen, which is another word for cake. if you didn't know that. So we're gonna put a few almonds in, we're gonna ground them up. So it calls for about 1/3 cup of ground almonds. So I have them done already, but I just wanted to show you, I use just my coffee grinder. I use this for cardamom, other spices also, just to grind them up really quickly. So you just put those slivered almonds right into the grinder here, and then you just press. I usually let go and let it fall and then up again, just so I make sure I get all the almonds all ground up together. And there you go. So I'm gonna unplug this so I don't grind again. And I'm just gonna show you what it looks like. I already have it measured out, but it was quick and easy just to grind up those almonds. Almonds are really rich in those healthy fats. So if you, another reason, I mean, when you're eating this dish, you have the rhubarb, and now also you're adding the almonds to the meringue, which really adds a nice flavor and texture to your end product that you're making. So I'm gonna put this over here so it's not in our way. Next, it calls for those 3 egg whites that we separated earlier, so I'm gonna put those in here. It also does say a pinch of salt or a spritz of lemon. And what I'm gonna do is add a little bit of spritz of lemon at the end. If you do, salt is usually used for a flavor if you're wanting, and you may not miss it, so if you wanna leave it out. If you added salt at the beginning when you were making your meringue, it may take a little bit longer to make it fluffy. So we're gonna leave it out right now, and then we're going to actually add the little bit of lemon spritz at the end. That lemon spritz, or some other type of acid, maybe cream of tartar or other things that you may have added to make meringue in the past, really helps with that browning when you're baking the meringue. So let's get started. It's going to take a little bit. We're going to blend this initially and then slowly, gradually add in 3/4 cup of sugar into our final meringue dish right here. So let's get started. Getting nice and thick, and we're going to add just a sprinkle of lemon juice, not much, 1/2 teaspoon or less. I'm going to mix this up a little bit more. You see it's getting fluffier. It's not going to be fluff like unless you added if you didn't add sugar. Sugar makes it just a tad little like heavier, but it's still nice and fluffy to put on top of our the top of their kuchen for the meringue. So we're going to keep it right there, and then what we're going to do is we're going to add these ground almonds right here into, and we're going to just fold them in. So that was about a 1/3 cup of ground almonds, just kind of folding in gently. Makes for a nice almond flavor. Again, adding those healthy fats in the almonds. Almonds have fiber. All right. So here we have it. We have our first layer completed. As you can see, it's pulling away from the sides. I did have to cook it for about an extra 15 minutes at 350. It's going to vary from oven to oven, so just keep an eye on it. But that true sign is it's just pulling away from the sides, and then it's ready for the meringue. So we're going to take our meringue that we made, and we're going to just put it on top. I kind of like to put it messy, because it kind of, if you just kind of swirl it around and make just different scoops and loops, and just kind of drag your spoon around and Just make it a little bit decorative because this will actually show when it's done. There we go. Now we're going to put that back in the oven for 20 minutes. Well, our rhubarb kuchen is ready, and we're going to what we're going to do is, it cooled off a little bit. We cooked it for the 20 minutes with the meringue, and then we're going to just take off, like unleash, and we're going to lift up and just check out our cake. That is our rhubarb kuchen. Pretty beautiful. Well, here is our rhubarb kuchen. It looks pretty good, actually. I can't wait to sample it, actually, after it cools off. You can find the recipe at Fried Walleye and Cherry Pie book. You could check it out at your local library, along with a lot of other recipes and great stories in this book. My name is Pam Rose, registered dietitian, and I'm the owner of Inspiring Roots. Check out inspiringroots.org for more cooking demos like these. Thank you for joining me today. I'm sending wellness wishes to all of you.